Hi, this is Scott Arnaud with this week's security tip. Today we're going to talk about communicating, basically emailing, with clients or patients securely. Now, there's a running joke in the security industry that emailing is about as secure as mailing a postcard. Honestly, that's not so far off the truth. See, when you send an email, it goes from your computer to a server, which is a centralized computer handling the email, and then it bounces off a number of these other servers, gets to your recipient's server, goes to their computer. Every step of the way, this thing can be looked at by anyone who has access to that server. So how can you possibly secure it? Well, there are a few different ways. One, you can encrypt the email. That way what you're sending is mathematically scrambled using an algorithm, and if someone does intercept it, what they're intercepting is gibberish. One little problem with that though. Both the sender and the recipient need to have the same encryption program. It's not that hard to do, but it's a little clunky, especially if you're dealing with something like you're a law firm dealing with your clients, you're an accounting firm dealing with clients, you're a dental or medical firm or a hospital dealing with patients. It gets a little tricky. Now, of course, if you're in these professions, it's very understandable that laws like HIPAA, the Health Information Portability and Accountability Act, or the American Bar Association's Model Rules of Professional Conduct could potentially pose a problem because there are some big penalties if you wind up having your patients' or clients' privacy basically compromised. So does this mean you have to encrypt them? Actually, no. Neither one actually requires that email be encrypted. Sometimes salespeople might tell you otherwise, but the honest truth is it's not required. However, it's also not a bad idea because if it does get intercepted or incorrectly sent to the wrong email address, since what's sent is encrypted, you usually don't have to report it under data breach laws, which is kind of a big deal because that takes out the PR and embarrassment aspect of it. Now, another way to go about this, aside from encryption, is to include a link in the email to content which is secured on a cloud-based website. Now, if you're thinking Dropbox, don't think Dropbox. Not a terribly secure site. Really well marketed, though. There are other sites like that which are much more secure. You can have a lot more control over who can get to the site. I'm in favor of one called Cubby, which is C-U-B-B-Y, Cubby.com, and there are a whole bunch of other ones out there. But just make sure that you can actually have some control over the degree of encryption for the site. It should be pretty safe. Another way to go about this is something called a secure web portal, which is where it's literally your own website, and the message that's sent has a link back to your site. So someone logs into your site securely, and then they can read the contents of the message. Hopefully this has been helpful, and if you have other questions about this or other areas of computer security, please stop by thesecurityadvocate.com. Thanks so much for your time and have a great week.